I got one more question. I lied because you said a name that I got to mention now. You said Gronk. And I got in some beef this week with people on Twitter. Big time. Yes.
Get out of town.
I said, I put out there that I said if Gronk decides to not retire and he doesn't resign with Tampa, if Tampa, it looks like, they're going to lose a lot of free agents besides just, Brady's retired. If he doesn't sign with Tampa and he wants to play another year, I think Buffalo would be a good fit for him.
If he plays next year, hot take, I think he's a Bill.
Okay, now let me ask you this. I got tore up for that shit. Fans went after me hard.
Because everybody's hung up on the Tre White thing.
So let me ask you guys, two professionals here who cover the team for a living. I'm not saying you necessarily know this, but what does your gut tell you? If the Bills went to Tre White and said, hey, if they would even bother doing that. But if they did, let's just say they do. Hey, Tre, we're thinking about bringing Gronk in here for a one-year deal. Do you think, in your opinion, is Tre White going to be like, no, he tried to take me out 4 years ago, which it was a dirty, filthy cheap shot, all right? I'm not downplaying what happened, the incident. But do you think 4 years later the Bills wouldn't want to upgrade and add to their roster with Gronk because Tre White wouldn't want him here? Or maybe I'm wrong.
They were considerable way down the road with him.
Wait, I think
year.
They would consult with Tre'Davious.
Sure.
But I honestly think that's squashed anyways. And on top of it, I think Tre'Davious and guys of his stature, unless there's like serious beef, but an on-the-field incident like that, I don't consider serious beef. I think that he would say, well, damn, if I can put Knox and Gronk on our team, we're going to be an even more explosive team.
Sure,
and anything of that magnitude, they would, even if there is something lingering, unless it's like prominent, which I don't think it is, I think these guys would put it behind them for the sake of trying to win.
Brandon Beane said that they were having conversations with their representatives, seeing what the interest level was at. You don't do that unless you're confident that bringing him into the building means that things will work out with a guy like Tre White. And Tre White's a professional. Listen, I know, like, you talk about the fun little wars with him and Stephon Diggs and the one-on-ones. In all honesty, Rob Gronkowski and Tre'Davious White aren't spending a ton of time together in the season. They're not like, going out for beers or going to Bar Bill in East Aurora. I don't foresee it being a problem. And at the end of the day, these guys value championship experience. It's why they were so interested in, all these guys over the years, like even Mitch Morse, who didn't go to a championship. One of the things they talked about was the playoff experience and like coming up and being around that kind of success. And who has had more success in the NFL over the last decade than Rob Gronkowski?
Right. Yeah.
There's not many. Tom Brady, and that's about it.
Yeah, it annoys me when fans say that.
But they're fans, and I get it. Like, they're sticking up for Tre, and Tre's like goalie academy, and he's a fan favorite. No, and you can love Tre and still want to get better at the tight end position, because guess what? I love Tommy Sweeney personally. Like, we talk about it. You talk about the locker room. We'd go in the locker room and hang out with Tommy Sweeney, talk about just BSing, like about just regular life stuff. Like, I don't root for it anymore, but he's a guy that I hope he does well because he's a good dude. I think they need to upgrade tight end too.
Yeah.
As an unbiased reporter, I think that they do, and that is an upgrade.
I also think his personality ultimately would fit really well. I mean, they're a really loose, fun-loving group, and he fits the exact mold of not ever covering him, but just from what you can tell and you read and you hear, he's all business when it's time to do business, and he is Gronk when he gets in front of the camera. When it's time to when you could show personality, that's who he is. And there are a lot of other guys on this team who I think are the same.